Great news for all European investors. We finally have also the opportunity to use Robinhood in Europe. Yes, you heard me right. The famous stockbroker from the US has also finally ventured into Europe, previously also in the UK, but in Europe for now, it's a bit more limited, but actually it offers amazing features. One, which I will definitely be using, and it's particularly if you're interested in buying cryptocurrency, because I found this to be probably the best and cheapest way to buy cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin in Europe. And trust me, I tried a lot of different exchanges, and I must say, at least for now, Robinhood is probably the cheapest and easiest way how I will be acquiring my Bitcoin going forward. Now, unfortunately, obviously, I'm not based full time in Europe and I don't invest in euro currency. But if you're based in Europe and you do earn euros, then honestly, I think that's the way to go to acquire your Bitcoin. So let me show you how it works, plus some amazing other nifty features that Robinhood is offering for European investors. Now, signing up to the app is pretty straightforward. Just go on Robinhood Crypto Europe, put it on Google search, because the first time I went to the European US website, signed up, and I couldn't really do anything because obviously we can't invest in the US, right? So then I had to kind of delete my account and make sure I opened the account in Europe. But I'll leave a link down in the description below to make sure you come to the right website right away, and you also get a small little welcome bonus if you use my link. Right, and maybe you've seen some other YouTube videos in the past, most likely from American YouTubers, sharing their finances and so on. And a lot of them actually buy their stocks and ETFs and everything in crypto through Robinhood. And honestly, I was always wanting to try it because obviously, I love testing different stockbrokers. I have 3 myself that I regularly use, and I really wanted to always try Robinhood. But again, unfortunately, for a long time, they were not available. But now you can finally trade at least crypto for the time being, plus some new asset classes I'll talk to you about in a second in Europe. So it's really cool, and I'm really excited to share with you guys how that actually works. So here we are inside my app. As I said, the KYC process of registering and getting up and running, super straightforward, super easy. To deposit money, also very, very easy. You can see the transfer details. They give you a SEPA transfer. They're based in Luxembourg. So I use my Revolut account, literally did the transfer free of charge. It was there, literally instant. There are no transfer fees as well from Robinhood's side. And of course, they're known for low commissions in general, right? So I really love that about Robinhood. And I could also very quickly from here withdraw. You can see it, the total amount available, which I deposited. I can put that, the full amount, review, and there won't be any fees charged on that as well. And you can, of course, only withdraw back to the account where you also deposited first. So that's something to keep in mind. Right, so here we are inside the Robinhood app, and that's the main screen that you see. And obviously, Robinhood is known to be really quite clean and sleek interface. I personally still prefer Lightyear. I think they have the nicest interface. It reminds me a bit of Trade Republic in a way. You can obviously flip around very quickly. Now, to be honest, I just started playing around with it. I did my first buy a few days ago when I got access to it. You can see the amounts are still very small, so I haven't really fundamentally invested large amounts over here. And if I was to, I would also immediately, of course, withdraw it back to my hardware wallet, because I don't believe keeping too much, crypto on the exchange is never a good thing. Always take self-custody. Anyhow, this video is just for demonstration purposes. You understand how it works. So you can change the time frame over here to see how your portfolio developed over time. Hopefully it grew. Then you see your buying power, how much money you have in cash sitting in your account. And then you can scroll down, and here you have your various assets in your portfolio, so to say. Obviously, as I mentioned, right now, I can only have crypto. Well, I could add another asset class, but as I said, I'll come to this in a second. So these are the various cryptos I have right now. So you see here, a couple of them I haven't bought. I only own Bitcoin, but the other ones I got as a sign-up bonus, which you might also be getting if you use my link down in the description below. So while that's nice to have, I obviously continue to only buy and hold Bitcoin. And yeah, if I go into my Bitcoin holding over here, you do get a little bit of insights of how Bitcoin as such developed over time, of course. You can see the currency, of course, is shown to me in euros. You can also change it to candlestick view over here, change the time period. You see my balance, a little bit of update, history, some news as well, but really rather limited. Now, if you wanted to research about cryptocurrency and so on, I would definitely recommend you an app like CoinMarketCap, for example. This is much more detailed. You get better insights, and you would then come over to Robinhood to make your trade. The research is really not that great in my opinion. And the cool thing from here is also very easily you can either receive cryptocurrency or you can send it to your hardware wallet. And you can see the information over here because I'm screen sharing right now my phone to the laptop. It says don't do that because obviously if I was to input my wallet address, that would kind of expose me. So they want that, but basically you get the drift. Very easily you put your wallet address, and from here you can send any of your cryptocurrency that is in your Robinhood account to your hardware wallet of choice. In my case, it would be Ledger. Right, but let me show you how simple it is to actually buy cryptocurrency through the app. And that's really one of my favorite feature about the app. So let's go ahead to click on buy over here. And then obviously you can either switch to how much Bitcoin you want to buy, but in most cases you want to buy in monetary value, right? In fiat amount. And you can do that from €1, which is really cool, right? Some crypto exchanges, they have higher amounts, but you could buy technically from €1. And let me just show you how it works with €10, for example. So go ahead at the top right, you can change it from market order. You can change it market order and BTC, limit order, stop limit order. So if you're very particular about your order type, you could set it up over here as well. But honestly, in my case, I'm usually just want to trigger the order right then and there and get on with it. So I'll keep it at market order, which basically means it's going to be executed right now. Click on continue. And that's obviously the first thing is you see there is no fee, which I really love. Who enjoys paying fees for their trades, whether it's stocks, ETFs, or crypto? Nobody likes that, right? So here is very clearly marked at 0. Now, unfortunately right now, as I've seen so far, it's only for Bitcoin. On some of the other coins, I'll show you in a second, there is a small fee. But once again, I also like how clearly they outline it because I've seen some crypto exchanges that don't really show you the fee. They just kind of package it all into one price that you pay at the end of the day. So that's something to keep in mind. And then you see here the BTC ask price. You can click on this. This is the lowest price currently quoted for this order. Now, obviously, some stockbrokers or crypto exchanges, they may not charge you a fee as such or commission, but they have a high spread. If I go back to CoinMarketCap, it's 100,619. So if I slide back to Robinhood, you will see it's 100,661. So pretty much the same. However, if I head over to Revolut, right now you can see they would charge me for the same Bitcoin 102,056. So significantly higher price. You can see the spread is way higher. So even I would still pay a fee for it. Some exchanges, they might charge you, some don't. But it doesn't matter if the spread is so much higher. That's a big deviation. And even if I jump over to an app like Kraken, which is really quite known for low fees, right? If I go to Bitcoin, click on buy over here, say for example €10, click ahead, and then you see also 102,117. This is very expensive. The spread is really high, and still there's a Kraken fee to it. So if I go back, you see once again 100,658, so significantly cheaper. So the larger your order is, the bigger the spread will make an impact. If I go back to the home screen of Bitcoin, you can see here, it shows you the bid and ask price. That's the spread basically. Is around, what is this, €60 difference. And that's very tight. Between such a large number is extremely tight, which I really love, right? So it's not just that you save on commission, but you actually get such a good purchase price of your Bitcoin. I really haven't seen any other exchange that competitive. Maybe, if you're some VIP level on Binance or OKX, one of these complicated trading apps, then maybe you could get a similar amount. But other than that, honestly, it's probably the cheapest way how you can possibly buy your Bitcoin right now in Europe. No fees, the tightest spread. I love it. All you do from here is swipe to submit, and you can see here the BTC price, 100,695. I mean, honestly, super simple, super straightforward. As I said, I haven't found a cheaper place to do that. Even on Nexo Pro, which is actually much cheaper, it was still more expensive in the end than over here. So yeah, I really can recommend that to buy Bitcoin. Now, obviously, as I said, if you were to buy some other cryptocurrency, for example, Ethereum, you want to buy that over here, you can go into buy, and I say again, €10. Go ahead, continue. You will see the ask price is still very competitive, 3,212 now on CoinMarketCap versus 3,213 on Robinhood. So pretty much the ideal price right now. But there is a small fee. Well, actually, it's not that small, 0.5%. So that's on the higher side, I would say. So that's something to keep in mind. For anything but Bitcoin, it is actually a bit more expensive. 0.5%, you will definitely find, the same, if not cheaper, for example, on Nexo Pro, Binance, OKX. I think you can get cheaper than that. So anything other than Bitcoin, think twice about. It's still cheaper than buying, for example, on many other platforms like Crypto.com or Coinbase, which are really very expensive. I would not recommend you to buy it there because it's just too expensive. While you still have a great spread on all the cryptocurrencies, the fees, it's something to keep in mind, of course. But if you plan to add and accumulate Bitcoin, then that's really the way to go through Robinhood Crypto Europe. Of course, you can also do some staking. Right now, they only have Ethereum and Solana over here. If you want to stake that, you could do so. So you could just go in here and then obviously add your Ethereum, and you could be earning a nice interest on that. Is for me right now not that high, 2.57% APY. For me, is not that super attractive. But if you have some excess ETH sitting around, which by the way, I would still not recommend you to keep too much on the exchange, but if you want to do, you could take advantage of that. And then we'll come to another really kind of interesting thing. They came up with a really innovative way for us users and investors to buy stocks and ETFs. I can show you this over here. Let's start off with that. You can see at the top when you search stocks, ETFs, and crypto. So yes, you can even buy stocks through Robinhood app right now. So if, for example, I wanted to buy some Apple right now, I can just click on this and go ahead, click on buy. But before I do that, you will see at the top left, it says token. So actually, what you're buying is not the actual stock the way you would do it on your regular stockbroker, but you would buy token in that company, which is really quite different if you think about it. It's kind of innovative. I kind of like it. I think in the future, more and more brokers and exchanges will go that way. I think 10 years from now, pretty much all investment vehicles will go through the blockchain and will be tokenized. For time being, it's very innovative and very new. Doesn't make me particularly want to go for it, but you do have the option to trade it. And it looks like pretty much any other stockbroker. You get some information, some statistics, some news over here, the earnings report. So if you wanted to buy, you just click on buy over here. However, unfortunately, right now, this screen doesn't load, which is a bit of a bug. I don't know. Maybe it's because on Sunday, right now, I believe they only trade 24 hours, 5 days a week, not 7 days a week. So I think that will change in the future. So I'm not sure why that screen doesn't load. But technically from here, it will be pretty much like any other stockbroker. You would say how many shares or what amount you want to buy. You can buy fractional stocks, of course, as well, and then you just go ahead and buy that. But again, contrary to a real stockbroker, you would own the token. And I kind of understood from the CEO that at the back end, they would kind of issue that token through their Bitstamp. They recently acquired a crypto exchange called Bitstamp. They kind of issue those tokens. Right now, they run on Arbitrum blockchain, as I understand. It's a particular blockchain. In the future, they will migrate to their own Robinhood blockchain. So then you're going to have 24 hours, 7 days a week trading, which will be possible. And at the back end, they will still kind of liaise with the TradFi stockbroker that issues those shares and then basically issue those tokens that you as a user get those tokens, and those tokens basically represent your share that lies with the traditional stockbroker. So a bit complicated at the back end, but for you as a user, you just literally click a button, you don't pay commission, you get amazing prices. So yeah, supposed to be really good. But at the same time, I kind of wonder right now, why would I do that? Because technically, I don't really own the share at this moment. Maybe in many years when everyone goes to that way, it's fine. But right now, why would I take the added risk if I can just buy the same share from a real stockbroker, like for example, Trading 212, where I can buy the actual share, right? Also commission free. So I don't really see the benefit just yet. Maybe again, as I said, in the future, there will be a feature we all get used to it. And I'm sure we will in the future have it all on the blockchain. It does offer a lot of advantages like speed and so on. But right now, it's a nice gimmick, but I wouldn't see myself really using it. And I think for that, I'll still stick with traditional stockbrokers. But one thing that is really unique is you'll potentially also be able to invest in companies before they IPO and go public. For example, as it says over here, OpenAI and SpaceX, right? I mean, amazing companies. I think all of us would love to be part of it, right? Really promising companies like OpenAI, who is behind ChatGPT. Once they go public on the stock market, I mean, their stock is going to explode, right? Maybe become the most valuable company in the world. So if we could go with Robinhood and become a shareholder before they even listed, would be awesome. And they promise they can do that. Now, there is a little bit of controversy going on right now, whether it's actually legal, right? Because the company technically hasn't issued those shares to Robinhood to be publicly tradable, because technically they make them publicly tradable before they are technically publicly tradable, right? So there's a bit of discussions going on. So yeah, they're really pioneering this right now. One of the first big exchanges and brokers out there that brings that to the masses in a way. So we'll see how it turns out. Once again, unfortunately for me, the screen does not load. I'm not sure what's happening here. Otherwise, I could show you that. So hopefully that will be fixed in the future. But yeah, also once again, I would play around with it. Obviously, I would take the €10 sign-up bonus once I get those shares. But I wouldn't really put serious money behind it because, again, I still don't 100% understand the fundamentals behind it, how it's priced, right? Who sets the price for it? They're not publicly listed. So who decides the price of those shares that I'm buying? Am I owning the token? Am I owning actual equity? So still a lot of question marks here. Though I do like the fundamental idea and innovation that Robinhood is really doing towards that. I think it is the future. Right now, I just think it's a little bit early, for me at least, to put some serious money behind this. But overall, really kudos to Robinhood to bring such cool features and innovation. And especially for me, buying Bitcoin at 0 fees and the tightest spreads is really a game changer. I absolutely love it. I'll definitely make use of that. And yeah, I'm really bullish on Robinhood long term. In fact, I'm still looking at the stock pretty much every day. I would like to have a position in it because I think they're doing really, really amazingly well. The CEO, every time I listen to him, I'm so inspired with his mission, vision, and more importantly, the execution, because they promise a lot of things and they paint a bright vision for the future, but they're also executing on it. Over 1 year, they're already up almost 400%. I mean, I wish I would have gotten in earlier, but hey, it is what it is. But still, when you look at the market cap is technically only 92 billion. Now, for some people, they say it's high because now I think it's even higher than Coinbase. However, if they do become a global powerhouse and one of the biggest, financial stockbrokers, crypto exchanges, banks, they're now also planning to become a bank, offering credit card, offering loans, offering retirement funds, and so on. They're really becoming a global financial powerhouse and go-to app, all things money, finance, and investing. And they're banking on young people that will get inheritance from their parents in the future, move away from all those dusty old school accounts and put their money over here on Robinhood. Then I think long-term 92 billion is actually really quite cheap still at this stage. Again, who knows? We'll see how it plays out. Again, of course, not investment advice, but definitely a company I'll be watching. You see their revenues growing year after year, which is good to see, of course, as well as their gross profit margin at 90.9%. So yeah, also very profitable. So definitely a company to keep an eye on. So it's good to see that while they execute on an app level and innovation, they also have the numbers to back it up, right? Because you don't want to have a stockbroker exchange that looks good and doesn't charge fees, but ultimately runs out of money and therefore goes bust, right? So it's good to see that they're doing those two things really well in parallel. So definitely, if you haven't already, check out Robinhood for yourself and use my link down in the description below to secure yourself a nice welcome bonus. And I'll be sure to bring you future updates about the app and show you what new features they will be adding. So definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel to not miss any future updates. Next up, check out this video over here. As always, thanks a lot for watching. Stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you in the next one.